Hello there, viewers. Good day to you and welcome back to the channel. We are returning. This is a part 2 video for this 2008 Ford F-150. It's got the 5.4 liter. That's the V8 King Ranch package. This engine came in with a slight tick noise on startup, and we are in the process of tearing this engine down in order to get a better visual on the timing system. We do plan on replacing the timing chains and the tensioners and the oil pump and maybe even the lifters and rockers on this once we get the cams out of it. But like I said, this is the part 2 diagnostic slash teardown of this particular operation. We have a pile of old parts sitting over here, and there is a pile of new parts sitting right on over here. See that? So what we're looking at over here is an oil pan gasket, an oil filter adapter gasket. We've got an oil pickup tube because that came with the Melling high volume oil pump. It's not a high pressure pump, it's a high volume pump. We've got 2 timing chains, 1 for each side, 1 timing sprocket for down on the crankshaft, 2 phasers. We have a new water pump, the phaser solenoids, timing chain guides, all 4 of those, and timing chain tensioners. Now these guys right here are the problem when it comes to this entire system on that entire engine design platform. The issue is, and if you look a little closer, you can see these are plastic housinged tensioner devices. And if we look right here, we see that little gasket around the perimeter, that inside pocket. This is what happens, is this gasket and this plastic will become brittle and weak, and that gasket will blow out. What that will do is cause a lack of oil pressure behind this tensioner, and it'll cause, oh, that's open, and it'll cause these tensioners to slack off, and the chain will flop and rattle around, and in some extreme cases the chain can get so loose it will cut a hole in the timing cover. Now that's not what's happening here. We caught this one really early, but at 197,199 miles on the odometer, we're not just going to go in there and do all this labor just to change timing chain tensioners. So we're going to be doing the entire shebang once we're there. Okay, so now we know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're going to do it. Let's begin doing it. So where we left off on the previous video is we pulled the valve cover off, pulled the intake manifold off, pulled the other valve cover off, and then the front engine accessories came off, and that's about when we called it a day. So where I'm going to pick back up is probably going to be this crankshaft pulley right here. Then we're going to go in, pull the oil filter and the oil filter housing off because the gasket behind there is leaking. Then we've got to get the power steering pump removed. That's down there, right there. And I think I can leave the AC compressor attached, but I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So let's get this crank pulley slash harmonic balancer removed, and then we will continue and proceed. Alrighty folks, so we're looking down at that crank pulley coming in with a 90-degree impact gun. I could probably fit in a big gun here, but I got the 90 because I'm used to it for these applications. Let's get this guy removed. Okay, we might need the big gun. Yeah, that little low profile one just doesn't have the sack to do what I need it to do. All right, well, that's not working, so we're gonna have to get out the regular impact. Now, I realize that's not really a fair comparison because those 90s are not known for torque. Yeah, look at that. But, oh, gravity. This has a much larger anvil as well. Okay, so this thing is gonna end up being interference fit to slide over the crankshaft right there. So what we need to take a look at is that hole, and that hole. What we need to do is attach a puller to the front of this crankshaft right here, or front of the pulley rather, and then use that puller with some bolts through those little holes to pull this crankshaft off, pull the pulley off of the crankshaft. So we're gonna get this thing adjusted out properly, bolt it on, and then we run the center bolt in. It's gonna yank this whole assembly off of the snout of the crank. That's the plan here. So let's get that guy set up and we'll begin the pull operation. All right, coming in with the puller and one of the bolts for in the pulley. So what we do is find the hole, get these guys threaded in. That one's in. sometimes the holes in these balancers get very, very, very rusted, and you almost cannot thread the tool into it. In which case you're gonna have to get creative, I guess. There we go. All right, that one's in. Let's get some tool action on there, and we'll start the removal process. Let's first tighten these guys down a little bit here. Making it even. I think that's about right. So now we're going to thread this center stud in. That's going to push against the crank and pull this guy out. So we need like a 18, I think, 17. 19, okay. There it goes. It's coming. Got it. All right. So, let's take this guy, set it right over here where it belongs. Pull the tool apart real quick, like. Battery. That's ready to rock and roll to go back in later. And this all can go back in the box. So anyway, next up, I think we got to raise this thing up in the air. We're going to pull the oil filter off next. Correction, oil filter housing, and in turn the filter comes with it. Green subscribe button, Ferd. Moving on up. All right, I'd say that's about good. And down on the locks for safety. There we go, you sketchy Chinese junk. There we go. All right, for now, looking good. What we need to do is take all this business off. We got an oil filter housing, got a power steered pump, and I don't really have any good way to really access that, and that's annoying to me. Yeah, it's got to all be done from down here. Okay. Okay, so we're kind of doing a reshoot here, and you guys know how I feel about that. Got the oil drain here. I lost audio for like 3-4 minutes of what I was doing. Anyway, we've got the oil filter housing here. There's the filter. I have a radiator hose pick in this lower hose here because there are 2 coolant lines going to that oil filter housing. It's like a cooler type assembly. So what I'm doing here is draining out some of this coolant. Once the coolant's drained, we can attack the 4 bolts that bolt this housing assembly to the block and then work on, or then pulling this thing out of the way here. So a little bit more pick action. Yeah, I had inadvertently powered down some of my audio system because I don't use the GoPro audio. I got like a wearable microphone, and the receiver is bolted. Nasty. The receiver is bolted onto, or not bolted, it's attached to the GoPro, and sometimes I touch it with my flange and turn the light off, or turn it off. Anyway, this thing is draining, but I don't want to drain it on me, so we're gonna come over here to the other side where it's safe, and I'm gonna try to disconnect this. Man, I can't seem to do it without massive spilling. And yeah, I already drained the radiator, by the way, but this is above the low point and fluid catches in the hose. It's on my face. Okay. Bear with me there, folks. So anyway, there's one hose. Spilling, leaking thing. Okay. Then the other one, that's a mess. I need to go dry off. I'm all wet with coolant. Okay, now I can maybe try to get organized again. We're done dripping coolant for the most part. Let's pull this other hose off. This is the one that goes up to the surge tank. Wiggle, wiggle, come off. All right, that guy's out of there. We'll tuck you up. And our floor bolts are exposed. That's gonna be a 10 mil. So let's go get a wobble extension for the gun. Okie dokes, 10 mil wobbly extension. The 3/8 gun here. We're gonna get the hardest ones first, which is gonna be this guy way up, upper left up here. I don't even think you can see it, but it's there. Oh yeah, you couldn't see anything because my big old hand's in the way. There's another one right below it. Come here. Probably gonna spill a bunch of oil here. Yeah, there it is. It's on my leg. Uh-oh, I think I missed a hose. No, I didn't, never mind. Oh, spilling. There. Here we go. Here's that nasty gasket I was just speaking of. That had to go away. All right, that's out of there. Bolts back in the filter housing. We will circle back to this thing later on. Okay, while we're here, a little bit of love with the super scraper. Get all that crust off. That way the new gasket has a chance to seal. Scrape all that out of there. This is a tungsten carbide flat tipped, see that right there? Scraper. Very flat, very sharp edge, designed to cut away the softer gasket material with just the slightest bit of pressure. And it won't gouge up your surface if you use it right. There we go. You know, while we're down here, might as well just go ahead and pull this cross member out so we can pull the oil pan off. So yeah, let's just do that. We've got 4 bolts on this cross member, 2 here and 2 there. Let's pull the nuts off the back side, the bolts out of the front side, and we'll drop this thing down. Loud noises. Crusty, rusted bolts. Not really, I mean, a little bit of rust. I've seen worse. Okay, we'll leave one of them in. That way the cross member can't fall out while I'm not looking. Go over here to this side. Put the nut back on the bolt. That way it does not become lost. Okay. Those guys are both out. So now, set those to the side. We'll pull out that one. And cross member is out of the way. Bolt back in it. We'll set that off to the side. Okay, well, looks like it's oil pan time, and there's that dipstick tube, and I think I can leave that there. a fleeting thought just now that I interrupted myself with. But let's pull all these perimeter bolts out. Oil flingers. See that? I have already drained the oil. I don't remember if I said that or not, but it happened. There we go. A couple of them up front. I wonder if I need to move or remove or disconnect this steering rack right here. It's kind of in the way, but I don't know, I might be able to slip this out past that. Not so certain just yet. Okay, on the back side of the pan, a couple more bolts. That's that side, good. Let's get the ones on the passenger side next. Alrighty, oil pan left side, this is passenger side. Moving on down the line, I went ahead and got the bolts out of the front. I had to go in there with a wrench to get them out. Couldn't go with the socket on a straight line. But they're out, so we're down to just, I think 2 or 3 more. And the pan will be coming down. That last one on there. Second to last one, there's a couple more. A little further back, like. Transmission lines are in the way a little bit. Yeah, I think that's all of the bolts. Aw, you guys couldn't really see that well. Yeah, I was back there. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to not point the camera. Okay, let's go in there with a screwdriver, pry driver. Pry this down some, crack the seal. Okay, she's coming loose. Now the question is does it come out? We're getting hung up on nothing. Got it. There she is. She's out. Oil pan successfully removed. How are we looking in here? Is it nice and shiny-ish? It actually is. A little bit of sludge back here on the rear side. Yeah, not too bad. So take a look right here. See that? That's the bottom of our chain. Here is the oil pump right there. There's our pickup tube. That's a good sign. There's no silicone or plastic or garbage in the bottom of that tube. See the bottom of our pistons right here. There's one. Connecting rods. Yeah, this thing's looking pretty good. Definitely not a filth box like some of these end up turning into. Yeah, a little bit of sludge back there. Okay, that guy's apart. We can pull the dipstick tube or the sump pickup off, but I'll save that for later. Let's get that power steering pump off of there. Actually, I wonder if I have to remove it. Let me see. I think I do. Yeah, there's a bolt behind the pulley right there. Okay, I'm gonna reach up. We're just gonna disconnect this power steering pump, and then I'm gonna let the truck down, and we're gonna go back up top and pull the timing cover off. So I'll see you back at the top side. I'm not gonna show the steering pump removal. It's whatever. So let me pull that guy apart, and I'll see you guys back up in the engine compartment. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Unless you're gonna go to rainmanraysrepairs.com and check out our custom merchandise and coffee. See you guys later. Okay, coming around back to the top. We have the power steering pump removed like I was talking about. Let's go ahead and start pulling perimeter bolts out of the front of this cover, and we can get this cover broken loose and removed. There, we'll start with the easy ones, and I guess move on to the not so easy ones. I think most of these are all the same bolt, same length and whatnot. Down there. There's one hiding. Nope, not in there. There's one. Down below it. Okay. Looking left and down. We got one here. One here. And I think that's mostly it for the 13s. There's some others around here, but those are larger. That one, that one, that one, that one. Yeah. Let's pull these guys out. And one more down there. Okay, these ones all go in the box. We'll switch out the socket and pull those 15 studs off next. 15 mil, switch it out. And another one right over here. This stuff's all going in the box. Now we're upping it to a 17. One more over here. Yeah, we're getting somewhere now. Way down at the bottom, two more. I think those are 21 mil. Big ratcheting wrench. It's 22, not 21. On clickage. There we go. Reach down there and spin these guys out. I couldn't get a socket over it because the stud part that sticks out was just too long, and the long deep well 22 just didn't quite make it. Anyway, it's two more for the box. Okay, I believe I have all but two. There's one larger one in the corner here. Ooh, I just saw the cover move. We're getting somewheres. And there should be its counterpart here on this side. Can't really see, but it's in there. There we go. All right. Let's put some pry driver action on this. See if it's gonna separate, come apart. I think I have all the fasteners out of here. I think. Oh yeah. Yep, got her. That's good. She's loose. What? There's a gasket? Thought these were glue-on. Ah, memory is mistaken. All right, let's see what we're looking at here now. We've got the phaser and the phaser. This right here, this is the pickup for the crankshaft position sensor. Without this, she won't run. See how it's got all the teeth in it? Then there's one missing tooth. It uses the magnetic field interruption as this thing rotates around past the sensor. When it picks up that blank space, it knows what position the engine is in. Therefore, it can determine based on the number of counts and what position it's in when to fire fuel injectors and when to fire off the ignition coils, when to actuate VVT, things of that nature. So without this, she does not run because this is a computerized controlled engine. So this guy, put that over there in the pile of parts. We'll be back for you later. Very critical to not forget. So we've got one of the tensioners there, the other tensioner right over here, plastic cased. There's our chain, here's our guides, and right here, that's our rattle noise, or a contributor of said rattle noise. There it is. See the brake? Yep. That is part of the problem right there. Broken chain guide. See that? No bueno. Told you we'd find it. How's this one doing? Not so broken. The chain's a little slack. Yeah, we'll pull it all apart and inspect everything. Let's see, what else? What should I do next? I think I need to, well, let's start pulling the timing stuff off. Let's get the chains out, the tensioners out. We'll get the phasers removed. We'll get the actuator solenoids removed. I have all new stuff there. And then we'll go back down below and pull the oil pump. Here, real quick, let's see if the quarter gun will crack the bolt loose for the phasers here. Ah, it moved. Nope, not coming loose with this one. Yeah, let's try the 3/8 gun. See if that'll get it loose. Yes. Bigger anvils make bigger impacts. Okay, those are both loose. Take those off later. Okay, so we need to rotate this around so the woodruff key on the crank is facing the down position at 6 o'clock. We need to rotate it around so the 3 tines here, here, and here are pointed down. These 3 tines are pointed up, and that should put us in the correct alignment. So let's give this a spin around. Should have pulled the spark plugs. It's coming up on compression, which is good. Oh man, turn. Oh. I heard that phaser clicking. I don't know if we're right yet. Okay, well, the R for the right side is pointed in the right side, correct direction. That's upwards. 3 tines down, 3 tines up. And it, gotta check my diagram because now we're back to the top here. I might have to do another rotation. Okay, I think I've about got it. I had misread my diagram. It's not the woodruff key that points down. It's actually that dot. There's a little dot right there. That dot on this gear points down at the 6 o'clock position. That should give us 3 tines down on this phaser, 3 tines up on that phaser. We can see the L pointed up, and we can see the R pointed up. That's right side. I think that's correct. Right side, left side. There are marks on the gears, or on the chains themselves, so we're supposed to line up the marks on the chains with the dot and its respective indicator mark for which side it goes onto. So I think this is about right. Let's go ahead and pull the tensioners and the chains and the sprockets and the phasers and the cams out. Okay, tensioners first. There's 2 10mm bolts down there. Pull these guys out. What I want to see is that cam slip. I don't even see the gasket anymore inside of here. It's so flat. Yeah, see that right there? This gasket is completely flattened out, and it's not going to provide a very good seal. These right here are known leakers. That causes oil pressure problems on their respective cylinder head. So let's pull this guide out of here. We don't need this one anymore. She's junk. This one's actually not junk, but it's not going back in. Let's get the chain. That's left side chain. I'm going to leave these phasers on here for the time being. Those can stay. What do we need here? An 8mm. Okay, let's pull this tensioner piece out of here. See, what's going to happen, or what does happen, is these pieces all start falling apart inside, and then they go down, they clog up that oil pickup sump, and then starve the engine of oil pressure. That's bad. It'll sound like a V10 F250. Woo! All right, let's get the tensioner on this other side here. There appears to be some chain tension. Can't have that. So I'll just turn the crank a little bit and relieve the chain tension on this side. It'll be fine. I can line it all back up later. There's really no worries. So that's a little looser-ish. Let's pop this guy out. Come here, tensioner. Yep, look at there. that gasket's broken right there. It's broken and coming out. Same thing right here. So this guy's got a busted gasket on this side. This is the other issue with this engine. The other problem. Let's pull the this guide out of here. We don't need that anymore. Goodbye, chain guide. Throw that in the trash. So now, let's take this out of here. Slack the chain off. There we go. That's the right side chain. Set that down right there. And I need two more bolts for that other chain guide right in front of us. It's the long one and the longer one. Okay, set these guys off to the side. I found more gasket. Peel that out of here. Goodbye. Throw that in trash. Gasket's all cleared off. All right, this guy needs a super scraper. Let's go ahead, pull the cams out. I think I want to make sure everything's nice and clean, so I'm going to pull both of the cams. Actually, I changed my mind one more time. I would actually like to pull this oil pump next and not the cams. We can do the cams later. I want the pump out of here. So let me get my socket back, or my crank bolt. It's kind of in there a little hard. I have a need for an adapter. Now it's a 1/2 inch 3/8 gun. There. Throw that in the box. Now this key should just slide right off. There we go. That's our crank sprocket. See the little dot there? Put that in there for later. So let's pull the oil pump fasteners out of this. And then we'll go back down below real quick and get the sump removed, or the pickup rather. Was it just 3 bolts, or is there another one hiding out? Nope, just 3. See how she moves? Okay, let's go back up, or back down, or make the truck go back up so we can go back down, and we'll get that pickup removed, and then the pump comes off. Then we'll do the top side stuff again. Moving back up. Almost all the way up, kind of. All right, that's probably enough. Let me squeeze down here real quick, like. So we got, there's the 8 mil. And I think there's just the one. Nope, there's 2 of them. There's one on the back here on the back side as well. That's where the sump bolts straight to the pump. Okay. If you're real slick, you can get that pump out without removing the oil pan, but if you drop the bolt, which is really easy to do, then you're SOL and you got to pull the pan anyway, so it's almost not worth the risk. Switched out to a 10 mil socket for this guy right here. Pull that loose. You sit right there. And there is our pickup tube. We have a new one, so shove that in there. Let's let this thing down, and then we'll pull the pump off. Coming down. All the way down. Good. All right, back up top. Let's get this pump dug out of here. Just slides right off the crank. Easily, easy peasy. There's a keyway cut into the crank, and then that meets up with the little keyways inside of the pump body right here. And as the pump rotates, it just moves its oil around, just like so. So do you guys remember in the last video when I spilled all that dirt up here and you were like, oh my God, you're gonna ruin it. Well, this is how we don't ruin it. We're just gonna take this cam out, clean it up, because we want to inspect the lifters inside of this unit. These things also had bad lifter and rocker arm problems, and we would like to, ooh, that was loose. We'd like to take a look at that. So we're pulling the cams out as well. It's almost a rebuild.
I'm letting the cam come up because there is spring pressure pushing against it. That's all been relieved. Good.
All right, so here's what we'll do. We're gonna mark these, and I'll mark them, that's number 5, I'll mark them in the front side, that way we know which way they're oriented so we can't turn them around backwards. And the reason these have to go in the same place is when they build these engines, they bolt all this stuff together, then they run a hone through this, which is like a giant cylinder made out of sandpaper. And I'm paraphrasing quite a bit. I know hones aren't made of sandpaper, but it's like a similar diameter as the camshaft. So when all these guys are bolted on, they'll run that hone in there, and that will bore these holes out to the exact size that they're supposed to be, and they will all the holes will be in a line. Now, if we turn this around backwards, there's a chance that due to machining differences and the flat sides of these, you can actually change some of those tolerances. So they have to be in order, in the right orientation when they are reinstalled. So this one's going to be number 4. Just give it a mark. I'm setting them down on a table behind me. 3 right there. That way no one gets lost. That's number 2, and we can't get number 1 mixed up because it's a completely different style than the others. See that? That's number 1. So now I can get in here and pull this cam out like so, and that gives us access to the lifters and the rockers. All right, camshaft lifter. Okay, so that's one of our lifters. Right here's one of the rockers. I think these are okay. I'll probably give them a bath and inspect them. Yeah, I see some pitting on this one. I'm gonna call my guy and see if he wants to put the rockers and the lifters in this thing. I mean, realistically, we're here, so why not? I would if it were mine, because we've already put in all this work. Okay, so left side cam's over here. We're gonna reuse the cam. Phaser's going away. I just called the owner of the truck, and we are gonna end up replacing all of these rollers and rockers. There's an upgraded and improved design regarding the oil holes on the lifters, and so we would like to go ahead and upgrade this to the good ones. So that means this side right here also needs to come apart, and we're going to pull this cam out and again pull out the remaining lifters and rockers on this side as well, which is good. That's going to help me make this whole interior of this engine super duper shiny and clean, because we like shiny and clean, especially inside of our engines. So I'll do the same thing. We'll crack them all loose, label them, get them on the table, and as soon as this cam's out, the teardown phase is about 99% complete. We still have to pull out the phaser solenoids. That can be the other 1%.
Excellent. Yeah, that one's coming out. Now those other ones are far and hard to reach. I need my ladder. Here comes 4. Right there. Let's get that guy labeled numero 4. And that last one, way out back there, that's number 5. Can you guys see that? Yeah. There's 5. And of course, the can itself. Let's pull that guy out. Beautiful.
While I'm here, might as well pull out all these rockers. Get these guys off the head. These are actually replaceable with the cam still in. It requires some special tools to do it, but it can be done. There we go. Whole pile of rocker arms here. Okay, lifters are next. I've got some curvy, angular little needle noses here. That should be sufficient to get a hold of these guys and pluck them out of the holes here. Beautiful. Gravity. Lifter. Gravity. Come here, lifter. Get you twice. I believe there's a couple stragglers back here. Get that one out. Another one behind it. You can't see, but I can feel it. That one there. Another one there. Drop that down inside the intake. That was cool. And last one right here. So let me get in that hole and fish out that one that I dropped. There it is. Okay, one side is done. Let me pluck the other ones out and we can move on. Okay, so let's move on back over to the passenger side one more time. We'll extract the remaining lifters. I think once these ones are all removed, that's probably going to bring this particular episode here to conclusion. Once these are out, what I've got to do after that is clean up a bunch of the surfaces. In fact, all the surfaces, the valve cover surfaces, the timing cover surface, the oil pan surface. Once everybody's cleaned and washed up and rinsed out and all the dirt and gunk and nasty has been removed, we can start the reassembly phase. So I believe I'm going to have to just save reassembly for, looks like, the part 3 video on this particular truck. This here is the part 2 video. So 1 and 2 are going to end up being disassembly, and then 3 and 4 is going to be reassembly and all that good stuff. So that being said, I'd like to thank you guys for watching Lifter Gravity, for watching the part 2 video. Let me know what you think about this whole situation and this engine and this repair procedure in the comment section down below. Do not forget to engage that like and subscribe button while you're down there. Don't forget to share this video with somebody that has one of these trucks so they know what they're in for in the future. And most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in a video in a Ford 5.4 Triton timing system valve train rebuild. No! I see it down there. End of transmission. See you guys later.